Ancient Egypt is one of the most fascinating civilizations in history, known for its grand pyramids, powerful pharaohs, and complex mythology. However, beyond the common knowledge of mummies and the Nile River, there are many surprising and even shocking aspects of this civilization that remain lesser known. From advanced medical practices to peculiar traditions, ancient Egypt was a land full of mysteries and unexpected truths. One of the biggest misconceptions about ancient Egypt is the belief that the pyramids were built by slaves. While this idea has been popularized in many books and films, archaeological evidence suggests that the pyramids were actually constructed by skilled laborers who were well-fed, housed, and even given medical treatment. Workers lived in nearby villages, and many inscriptions and records suggest that they were respected for their hard work rather than treated as slaves. This challenges the long-held perception that these magnificent structures were built purely through forced labor. Another surprising aspect of Egyptian society was the role of women. Unlike many ancient civilizations where women had few rights, Egyptian women could own property, initiate divorce, and even rule as pharaohs. Hatshepsut is one of the most famous examples of a female ruler who held immense power and was even depicted in statues with a false beard to signify her authority. Cleopatra, although Greek by lineage, also wielded significant influence over Egypt and its foreign relations. Women in ancient Egypt were granted rights that were unheard of in many other parts of the ancient world, making their society far more progressive than commonly assumed. Medicine in ancient Egypt was far ahead of its time. The Egyptians practiced advanced medical techniques, including surgeries and the setting of broken bones. Papyrus texts reveal knowledge of medicinal herbs, painkillers, and even rudimentary dentistry. They used honey as an antiseptic to prevent infections, and some medical treatments were so effective that they were later adopted by Greek and Roman physicians. Some tombs even contained prosthetic toes and fingers, indicating that they developed early forms of prosthetic limbs. Despite their depictions in art as slim and fit, many Egyptian pharaohs were actually overweight. The royal diet was high in bread, beer, honey, and fatty meats, leading to obesity in many rulers. Studies of mummies have revealed hardened arteries and signs of diabetes, which suggest that the Egyptian elite did not live as healthily as their artistic representations would suggest. Hatshepsut, for example, was believed to be obese and possibly suffered from diabetes, which may have contributed to her death. Law enforcement in ancient Egypt was surprisingly sophisticated. Unlike the popular image of a chaotic ancient world, Egypt had an organized police force that included trained warriors, dogs, and even monkeys. These law enforcers helped maintain order and catch criminals. The presence of a structured system of law and order suggests that ancient Egyptian society was far more organized and disciplined than often portrayed. Makeup in ancient Egypt was not just for beauty. It had practical and medicinal purposes as well. Both men and women wore elaborate eye makeup made from malachite and coal, which was believed to protect the eyes from the sun's harsh rays and had antibacterial properties that helped prevent infections. The Egyptians also associated eye makeup with spiritual beliefs, believing that it provided protection from evil spirits. This demonstrates how their daily practices were deeply intertwined with both practicality and religious significance. Mummification was not only reserved for humans. The Egyptians also mummified animals, including cats, birds, crocodiles, and even bulls. Some of these animals were meant as offerings to the gods, while others were buried alongside their owners as beloved pets. In some cases, animals were bred specifically for the purpose of being sacrificed and mummified, a practice that was both widespread and deeply embedded in religious traditions. A truly astonishing discovery about ancient Egypt is their early form of a pregnancy test. Women would urinate on wheat and barley seeds, and if the seeds sprouted, they were considered pregnant. Modern studies have shown that this method was actually around 70% accurate, proving that the Egyptians had an impressive understanding of reproductive health for their time. One of the most famous figures of ancient Egypt, Cleopatra, is often thought to have been of Egyptian descent, but she was actually Greek. She belonged to the Ptolemaic dynasty, a Macedonian Greek ruling family that took control of Egypt after the death of Alexander the Great. Despite her foreign heritage, Cleopatra embraced Egyptian customs and even learned the language, making her one of the few Ptolemaic rulers to do so. Her ability to bridge cultures and maintain power in a male-dominated world remains one of her most remarkable achievements. The idea of curses surrounding Egyptian tombs has long fascinated historians and enthusiasts alike. While Hollywood has exaggerated the concept of pharaohs' curses, ancient Egyptians did inscribe warnings on tombs to deter grave robbers. Some tombs contained threats of divine punishment or misfortune for those who disturbed them. While these inscriptions were likely meant to scare off looters, they contributed to the myth of mummies bringing bad luck to those who dared to enter their resting places. Despite their serious religious beliefs, the ancient Egyptians also enjoyed entertainment, including board games. One of their most popular games was Senet, which was a game of strategy and luck. It was played on a grid-like board, and many pharaohs were buried with their game sets, suggesting that it held cultural or even spiritual significance. This love for games indicates that, beyond their architectural and religious achievements, Egyptians also valued leisure and recreation. Some of the most shocking ancient Egyptian practices involved contraception. One of the strangest methods involved using crocodile dung mixed with honey as a contraceptive. Women would insert this mixture as a pessary, believing it would prevent pregnancy. While this method seems unthinkable today, it showcases the Egyptians' attempts to control reproduction through creative, albeit questionable, means. Interestingly, some Egyptian pharaohs, including Ramses II, had red hair. Red hair was associated with the god Set, who represented chaos and storms, and it was considered a sign of divine power. The discovery of mummies with red hair suggests that certain physical traits may have played a role in royal symbolism and religious associations. One of the most astonishing artifacts discovered from ancient Egypt is the dagger found in King Tutankhamun's tomb, which was made from an iron meteorite. This means that the metal was sourced from space, making the dagger literally extraterrestrial in origin. This finding suggests that the Egyptians were aware of meteoritic iron and valued it highly, using it for objects of great significance. The Egyptians' reverence for cats is well known, but what is truly shocking is the level of devotion they had for these animals. Cats were considered sacred and linked to the goddess Bastet, the deity of home and protection. Killing a cat, even accidentally, could result in severe punishment, including death. Egyptian households often had statues of Bastet, and families would mourn their pet cats by shaving their eyebrows as a sign of grief. This intense adoration for cats highlights how deeply animals were woven into Egyptian spiritual and domestic life. Ancient Egypt continues to captivate the world with its incredible achievements and hidden secrets. While many aspects of their civilization are widely studied, there are still countless surprising details that challenge common perceptions. Whether through their advanced medical practices, progressive social structures, or strange rituals, the ancient Egyptians remain one of the most intriguing cultures in human history. Their ability to build towering monuments, develop sophisticated technologies, and maintain a rich spiritual tradition for thousands of years ensures that their legacy will continue to astonish and inspire generations to come.